It's Monday, December 14. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. The winter tourist season is here and Jamaica is open for business. Portfolio Minister Edmund Bartlett has unveiled plans for the season. The sector took a hit this year as air and sea travel came to a virtual standstill for months due to safety measures implemented to stem the spread of COVID-19. Since then, the tourism sector has seen a steady recovery of tourism players establishing strict safety protocols such as the Resilience Corridor. Marlon Samuels has the details.
The tourism sector is slowly recovering from a virtual shutdown. Up to 2019, the sector employed 170,000 people directly. 130,000 of that number lost their jobs when Jamaica closed its borders in a bid to slow the transmission of COVID-19. The tourism minister says the resilience of the sector was strengthened through strategic plans to reopen the sector safely.
We've developed some of the best protocols that any country could have. In fact, so strong were our protocols that we became the third country in the world to get the World Travel and Tourism Council seal of safe travel approval, and that augured well for Jamaica. We then went to a whole program of training and public education relating to the protocols. We trained nearly 20,000 workers and certified workers during that period.
Tourism sector workers who were sent home have been re-employed, and with the successful opening of the Resilient Corridor along coastal tourist areas, things are looking up for the winter season.
And our airline partners have all come in, and we have been able to secure just a little over 860,000 seats for the winter season. And if we get a load factor of 40 to 50%, we could be looking at a winter with somewhere in the region of 400 to 500,000 visitors. And that would be a nice beginning to restore the growth levels that the industry had over the years.
Unfortunately, Jamaica continues to get reports of COVID-19 transmission daily, and there are concerns about this consistency.
We are very, very conscious of the need for us to have stronger compliance in a number of areas, and we will be taking steps in the ministry to work with our stakeholders and partners to ensure that there is full compliance in every aspect of the protocols that we have established and agreed upon. And of course, we are going to be out there as part of the surveillance mechanism, literally seeing to it that everybody does in fact comply.
Minister Bartlett says his team has a vested interest in ensuring that safety protocols are observed. The minister plans to go further with a planned health logistics strategy for visitors. Tourism continues to be a pillar of the Jamaican economy. According to the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, tourism directly contributes to more than 7% of Jamaica's GDP annually. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Marlon Samuels.
Plans are being made to reopen more school plants come January, but Education Minister Favour Williams says this will not happen if Jamaicans fail to adhere to COVID-19 infection prevention protocols put in place to keep transmission numbers low. She's urging Jamaicans to do the right thing. Minister Williams made the plea while at Seaforth Primary School in St. Thomas on the weekend. More than 125 schools are being prepped to resume face-to-face classes. Education Minister Favour Williams says the ministry is working towards a blended approach involving classes online.
Embedding technology in education will help our children learn faster. It will enrich what they're learning. It will hopefully help them to be more self-directed, because then they can do research, they can look things up, they can explore the world, they can understand what the culture looks like in Japan or China or Australia or wherever it is that their imagination takes them.
Minister Williams was addressing those attending the presentation of tablet computers at Seaforth Primary School in St. Thomas. She says, in addition to the distribution of over 100,000 tablets and laptops, the ministry is working to have a device management system in place.
So that if students and teachers who they all have tablets as well, having issues with them, with navigating to a particular site or so, you can call the support desk.
The Education Minister ended her address with an announcement of the proposed dates for exams in 2021.
We're thinking PEP, we're thinking CXC and CAPE. So we're giving you long notice because we don't want you to spend off all the money over Christmas, right? So we want you to have this knowledge as you go into Christmas, that we're looking at dates next year. Ability test for grade 6 will be February 23rd, 2021. We have the performance task, April 22nd. We have Friday, April 23rd, which would be the math performance task, as opposed to language arts performance task on Thursday, April 22nd. And then we have the curriculum-based test on Tuesday, May 25, 2021, which would be the language arts, science. And then on Wednesday, May 26, 2021, we have the math and social studies.
Increased commercial activity is normal at this time of the year. Shopping places are typically crammed with customers, but far from a typical year, business owners must now contend with anti-COVID-19 measures as they try to maximize profits. Speaking at the last COVID conversation press brief, Chief Medical Officer Jacqueline Bessessa-McKenzie had some advice for business owners.
I would say that for the business owners, they need to, we certainly don't want them to be earning less, but we believe that if we do a little bit more planning in terms of trying to attract persons into the business places in what normally are the downtimes, so that we spread out the number of persons and therefore decrease the crowding within business places. I think if we can put in some incentives to persons to come into the stores at these downtimes to be able to purchase, we need to ensure that persons are sticking to the infection prevention and control measures. We need to advertise that our business place is safe so that persons will feel safe to come out and come to your business place, and that they can tell other persons that when I went to this place, they had all the protocols in place and you should feel safe to go there. I think persons should want that to happen. If we promote the businesses that are doing what they're supposed to do, then we should get more persons coming to those, and other businesses would also may want to be doing that. I think also that whatever measures in terms of the encouraging persons to use a delivery service to prevent persons from actually coming into a store, if they can call and make an order, if whatever you can do to shorten the interaction within the business place is also a good idea. So business owners need to start thinking creatively. I'm sure they're doing that already, but they need to go the extra mile.
Time now for an update on Jamaica's COVID-19 status.
In the clinical summary for Sunday, December 13, 82 new COVID-19 cases were reported. That total has moved to 11,792, of which 3,276 are active. No new deaths were recorded for the period. That tally remains at 273. Overall, there are now 8,098 recoveries, with 144 reported over the last 24 hours. 99 persons are now hospitalized, with 16 showing moderate symptoms and 14 critical. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Gabrielle Thompson.
53 new justices of the peace have been commissioned in St. Thomas. On Friday, the new JPs were added to the 247 already on the books for the parish of St. Thomas. Melvin Pennant reports.
Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says he expects the justices of the peace to be leaders in their communities.
Please do your best to give them the guidance and the information, because the people of this country need leadership. And I expect that you, the good people, must step forward, step up to the plate, and lead. You must be not only the leaders within your community, but working closely with the customers and the police. You make your community safe and secure.
He is also urging the creation of a Justices of the Peace Association.
I've met with the Lay Magistrate Association and urged them to change the name, because what's in a name? Because you, as Lay Magistrate, you're a JP. So just change the name to the JP Association of St. Thomas or of any other parish, and based on that, you operate and make sure you work closely with the customers to strengthen the JP Association. Because why I'm emphasizing this? Individually, you can do a lot, but collectively, you can do much, much more.
He is also encouraging the use of technology as the JPs carry out their daily activities, citing how technology has helped his personal education.
Nowadays, since the pandemic, cabinet, the highest lawmaking body outside of Parliament, we have been conducting cabinet meetings by Zoom. We use the Google team. So the Prime Minister is at his home. Sometimes I go into the office, and at lunchtime I move and go home, because sometimes we start at 10 and we go back late into the night. And I sit in my easy chair and I'm conversing. This is the technology of the future. All of you, I beg you. I know it's difficult, you know. Old habits die hard.
Melvin Pennant, PBCJ News.
Oil prices rallied on Monday, buoyed by the hopes of a COVID-19 vaccine rollout. We get that and other details in this quick business report with Gabriel Thompson.
In Monday's trading session, the JSE Combined Index advanced by 1,431 points to close at under 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 83 stocks, of which 37 advanced, 27 declined, and 19 traded firm. The Junior Market Index advanced by 9 points to close at under 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for 138 Students Living Jamaica, Barita Investments, and Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited. Stocks declined for Access Financial Services, Blue Power Group Limited, and Caribbean Cream Limited. Trading firm were 1834 Investments Limited, Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited, and Caribbean Producers Jamaica. Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited was the volume leader with 15.5 million units, followed by Supreme Ventures Limited with 2.4 million units, and Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with 1.3 million units. Now for the foreign exchange. The US dollar on Friday, December 11 ended trading at $144.45. The Canadian dollar sold for an average $112.46. The pound sterling traded for $191, and the euro ended trading at $176.12. Oil prices rose on Monday, pushing Brent back above $50 a barrel, buoyed by hope that a rollout of coronavirus vaccines will lift global fuel demand, while a tanker explosion in Saudi Arabia jangled nerves in the market. Brent crude futures rose 67 cents, settling at $50.64 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude futures gained 62 cents to settle at $47.19 a barrel. And that's it for this edition of the Business Report on PBCJ. I'm Gabriel Thompson.
In regional news, the Venezuelan government said Sunday it had found 14 bodies after a ship carrying migrants bound for Trinidad and Tobago was wrecked en route. In a statement, the government said that 11 bodies were found by a Coast Guard patrol on Saturday afternoon and, quote, Sunday, following up on the events that occurred, they found 3 dead, 2 adult males and 1 female on the beach. The Trinidadian Coast Guard had said Saturday that Venezuelan authorities informed them that, quote, 11 bodies had been recovered that day in waters near the Venezuelan coastal town of Guaria, end quote, in the northeastern state of Sucre. The preliminary information suggested that the boat left on December 6 with more than 20 people on board. Venezuelan opposition deputy leader Robert Alcaca, who represents Sucre State, said that migrant departures to Trinidad often used precarious boats loaded with too much weight. Citing a police report, he said that the bodies were tied together supposedly to protect themselves from heavy waves and were in advanced state of decomposition. The head of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association believes the region's bread and butter industry will bounce back from the global health crisis.
The head of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association believes the region's bread and butter industry will bounce back from the global health crisis, and he has strongly disagreed with critics who are of the view that the region should diversify and move away from tourism. The CHTA's Chief Executive Officer and Director General Frank Comito made the comments as he addressed a virtual forum hosted by the association, the Caribbean Tourism Organization, and the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center recently on the topic, Tourism, the key to the Caribbean's economic recovery.
We're resilient. Our industry is incredibly resilient globally as well as regionally. And you can see here, this is regional visitor arrivals impact, how quickly we rebound over the past 20-odd years from various types of crisis situations. We bounce back, and we bounce back usually better and stronger than we were. Next slide, please. In today's COVID-19 global environment, some say it's time to diversify away from tourism. Tourism presents, I disagree fully with that. I think tourism presents the Caribbean with its greatest opportunity to recover and renew. And as we heard from some of the other presenters, diversifying with and within tourism should guide our reshaping. We should go with our strengths.
He maintained that tourism has been a driver of positive change in the region for more than half a century.
Over the past 50, 60 years, major revenue and employment generator, drives infrastructure development, builds human resource capacity, and develops our people. It's compatible with tourism, with the Caribbean culture of hospitality, so it fits really well with who we are and what we offer. Supports and creates local entrepreneurial activity, enhances safety and security, particularly around our airports, promotes cultures, celebrates uniqueness, differentiates our markets. It attracts added airlift for travel, not only for visitors, but for residents, and that reduces the costs as well, even though we like it reduced even more. It protects and enhances the environment. Not always, but generally it does. It's part of our value. It facilitates recovery following a crisis, and it's a standards bearer. It challenges us to do our best, and we can see that in how many Caribbean nationals have matriculated and moved up into the ranks of management and ownership in so many different ways.
The importation of cars is possibly one of the largest consumers of foreign exchange in Trinidad and Tobago. This from the island's Minister of Finance, Colm Imbert, as he piloted the Finance Bill 2020 in the House of Representatives on a Friday.
Minister of Finance Colm Imbert as he piloted the Finance Bill 2020 in the House of Representatives on Friday. He said the total cost for vehicles imported in 2019 amounted to $2.76 billion. Minister Imbert said 19,460 cars were imported at a cost of 2.02 billion TT dollars.
And if you take all the cars together, you're talking 300 million US dollars, 2 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollars. And that 300 million US dollars has to be found in the commercial banking sector. It has to come from the government's foreign reserves. It has to displace foreign exchange for inputs into manufacturing, for food, and for a number of essential supplies, for building materials and so on.
The $300 million US or $300 million US dollars spent in Forex for motor cars every year could be used for other purposes. He added that there are certainly enough cars in Trinidad and Tobago.
And you would have heard, Madam Speaker, that we have over 1 million vehicles in Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago is among the highest per capita vehicle owner countries in the world. And that is evident when you go onto the roads and you see the congestion.
Still in Trinidad and Tobago, a local non-profit organization issued a call for volunteers to pack 3,000 hampers. What they got was a site full of concerned citizens giving their time to ensure that families hit hard by COVID-19 pandemic received a gift of food this Christmas. Cameraman Nagal Alexander visited the Diwali Nagar site this weekend and took in the process to get these care packages ready. Stacey in Providence reports.
They weren't getting ready to take part in a sporting event. These volunteers were taking a much-needed break as they committed to the task of packing some 3,000 hampers for hard-hit families. Like the family of 6, who now has to survive on one low-income salary because a parent has lost a job.
These people are the ones that really need an additional hand. They don't go out and ask and they don't go out and beg, right? This is new to them. They are not the professional people who sometimes depend on a hand. So we have been looking after some of these people, helping where we can as much as we can.
The list of families to benefit spanned the entire country, and CHTA says it partnered with 50 other organizations to make this happen.
These volunteers, we asked people to register specifically, and we screened every volunteer, and we chose people who are on the low end of the risk of COVID-19. If you look at the process, generally people are always 6 feet apart, everyone is wearing a mask. We sat down, we thought through the process completely. We looked at how we could have minimum touching an item, everyone have gloves. These items come directly from the distributor. It have the longest expiry dates, it is the freshest items that you could get. And the process itself allows the items to be touched only once with a person with gloves.
CHTA is asking for help to cover the cost of their charitable undertaking. President Rivan Tilak Singh says a donation could be done simply by visiting a participating supermarket or the NGO's website.
So anyone wants to contribute while you're going through the cash, just ask the teller, right, if you can make a contribution to CHTA, and the teller will ring it up on your bill, it will come. You can make a contribution through the participating supermarkets that is listed, or you can visit our website www.sewatiti.org and make a donation via the website.
The food packages are valued at over $250 and contain the basic items such as flour, rice, sugar, milk, oil, potato, peas and drinks. Stacey in Providence, TTT News.
In sports, we bowl off with cricket. Well, it's a whitewash. New Zealand won the second test against West Indies by an innings and 12 runs in Wellington to sweep the two-test series. The test ended in the first session on day 4 after the West Indies, out for 131 in their first innings, collapsed for 317 in their second. In reply, New Zealand first innings 460. The win extended New Zealand's unbeaten home run of 15 tests and lifted them to equal Australia on points on top of the world rankings. New Zealand's next home series against Pakistan starts December 26. And in more sporting news, Jamaican discus star athlete Frederick Dacres is set to resume training soon following the removal of a cast on his wrist this week. Dacres has been sidelined since October with a torn ligament in his right hand. Dacres was a silver medalist in the 2019 World Championships in Doha. And that's our package. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place for the news right here on PBCJ.